Hello, my name is Hemendra Singh Bora and today I am here for my art integrated project which is based on the history of calculus. So let's start it. Calculus, the mathematical study of how things change. It includes differential calculus, rate of change using slope as a function and integral calculus. Determining quantities like areas and volumes under changing condition, two people are responsible for calculus. Isaac Newton, the Apple guy, and Gottfried Leibniz. Both Newton and Leibniz are independently responsible for the foundation of calculus that we see today. So, how did calculus start with them off? Of course, it didn't. Every answer is in the history itself. So, let's get back in time. Yeah, Babylonia was an ancient Mesopotamian state comprising of modern Iraq, Syria, and Egypt. The capital city Babylon was about 60 miles from Baghdad. Babylonians offended in early intuitions on the infinite process that could determine the square root of a rational number to any number of decimal places. A contributing factor was their sexagesimal number system that allowed for a compact notation. Sexagesimal number system has a base 60, that means they represent all real number using 60 symbols. This is different from the base 10 or the decimal number system that we use today. The 10 symbols being the digits 0 through 9. Babylonians mathematics recorded their research and observation on a clay tablet called cuneiforms. This is a famous cuneiform that shows the diagonal of a square is root 2 times its size. They were also able to define other numbers with potentially infinite precision, like the length of a hair or even represent the value of pi. Fast forward to 300 BC Babylonian. Astronomers thought everything that happens in this world, from changes in the weather to rise and the fall of the tides, was associated with the motion of the planets. So the Babylonians used geometry to study the motion of planets, especially Jupiter, since their god Marduk was associated with Jupiter. Recording their velocities at instantaneous time, they could determine how far the planet travels in an interval of time. This was similar to finding the area under a curve with the trapezoid rule, which formed the basis of integral calculus that we see today. Did they do everything? Of course not. Around the same time in ancient Greece were the prominent figures Eudoxus and the Archimedes. They were able to prove the area of the shapes throughout the method of exhaustion. For normal polygons, say an octagon, we split it into a number of triangles and find the area of each triangle. Then add it up to get the area of the polygon. Circles are a special case since they can directly be split into triangles. Half a circle is just half a circle. So, they inscribed a polygon and gradually increased the number of sides, so the area of the circle would approximately be equal to the area of the polygon. But the area of the circle would only be the same as the inscribed polygon with infinite sides. From this we got the concept of limits, and it also incorporated the idea of infinite process. Onto the medieval era, India had their share of contribution in the 12th century. Mathematician and astronomer Bhaskar wrote the Siddhartha shadow money, which contained text in astronomy with proofs using calculus. He proved the added size point, the instantaneous speed of a planet is 0. Actually, I don't know what that means, but that's what it literally says in the paragraph of the news article. This paragraph talks about how some English mathematicians called Newton and Leibniz are known for their discovery, even though Bhaskara said it a few centuries earlier. One of the greatest mathematician and astronomer in the 14th century India, Mahadeva, linked the idea of infinity series with geometry and trigonometry. He was able to formulate infinite series expansion for sine, cosine, arctan, and even pi. So you see these expansions known as the power series, but no, they called it the Mahadeva series. Mahadeva's sine series, Mahadeva cosine series, Mahadeva's arctan series. But if he did find this, then why didn't Mahadeva get the credit himself? We can't find his work. The only source were the mathematicians who referred him. Newton and the other Western mathematicians were 300 years too late. The history of calculus and mathematics isn't straightforward. Different countries came up with their own methods. Around the same time, using this knowledge, we attribute its flourishing as a promising field to the people who tied it all together. Newton was a physics buff. His calculus was different. Out of the necessity to lay the foundation of gravitation and the laws of motion, so it's no surprise that he thought of calculus in the terms of motion and called his calculus the method of fluxions. A variable of interest was called the fluent and its velocity were called the flexion. While Newton thought of high calculus in terms of motion, Leibniz has a more mathematical interpretation. To him, calculus was more sums of the infinitesimal distances, the same meaning behind the notation we use today. And so the most of the notation we use is actually from Leibniz. So who took the credit for the calculus? Newton convinced his ideas in the 1660s, while Leibniz came to the similar conclusion a decade later. But Lenz published his findings nearly a decade before Newton. Well, initially it was Newton, but after his death, both were attributed the title inventors of calculus. Regardless, as we have seen, calculus wasn't invented overnight. It's a branch in mathematics that has multiple roots from thousands of years ago, and it continues to prove newer fields like machine learning and AI. If not for all these people, some of us would have been doing different things. Hope you like this video. And here my art integrated project ends.